Hi, this is Scott with Hi-Lux Optics. If you've been following our videos on this 1885 Uberti high wall over the past couple weeks, you may have realized that we've had some difficulties with mounting. So today, I'm excited to finally pack all this stuff up and head on off to the gunsmiths. Actually, we're going to Match Grade Gunsmiths over in Cerritos, where we're going to be talking to Sal. He's going to help us drill 6 holes here in the top of the barrel. 2 just in front of this rear dovetail so that we can finally properly mount the 6-power long scope that I have been waiting to try out. Then 2 holes here, 7 1/4 inches over, 2 more holes. Those are going to fit the blank bases that we left with him to have pre-drilled so that we can get right into the meat of the business today. While we're there, we're going to be asking him plenty of questions about machining, vintage rifles, vintage scopes, and any other interesting projects he's worked on. So stay tuned after the break. Let's get cracking. I'm here with Sal at Match Grade Gunsmiths, and he's here to do some work on our 1885 vintage Uberti. But first, I want to find out, how exactly did you get your start in gunsmithing?
I actually started gunsmithing quite early on. I learned metalworking when I was about 8 years old, and my uncle worked for McDonnell Douglas at the time, which then was transferred to college. He taught me a lot of metalworking, and I got into paintball and airsoft guns right at about the same time. And that kind of led into me wanting real guns. By the time I was 15, 16 years old, I was building my own paintball guns from the ground up, from scratch, and having played airsoft, which is more realistic version of the guns. There was a few guns in airsoft that I wanted to own as a real firearm when I turned 18, but wasn't allowed to.
Like the replicas?
Yes. So I pretty much took some dimensions off the airsoft guns that were close enough to the real firearm that I was able to design the kits to make them California compliant so I could bring them into California. I then paired up with a shop that was out in San Marino, Highland area, and designed the kit, sent it to him, he tested it on the real gun, and ordered 40 kits from me. And I made all those by hand on the machine I had at the time. And then that kind of snowballed into what it is today, where I started designing the kits, installing them, fixing the guns, and then ended up with the shop that I did.
We're going to use this as a testing rifle, which means we're going to drill a lot more holes than we actually need. Do you think there's going to be any potential damage done by putting 6 holes in this thing?
No, not at all. The diameter of the holes and the depth that we drill them into won't have any factor. The barrel in this thing is so thick, 4570 is a relatively low pressure cartridge for as big as it is. You shouldn't run into any problems. I mean, take a look at modern rifles, how they flip the barrels. They go down very thin. Knights are with the golf balls into this. You know, they make it, you know, you could probably make this thing Swiss cheese all the way down to, you know, 1/10 of an inch to the wall thickness of the barrel.
I was going to follow up by asking how you determine what a safe depth is, but it sounds like...
It depends on the caliber that you're, you know, the bore diameter that you're going with, the wall thickness of the barrel, the barrel material. There's a lot of factors that go into it. One thing you do have to consider, though, is even if you do break through the wall of the barrel, as long as the thread form is strong enough to hold the pressure that's there, which most screws will, it's no different than a gas port in a gas-operated gun or anything else like that. It's not good to drill into it, but it's not going to necessarily hurt anything. If you put plug screws or the screws for the mounter in it, that's not something that will be happening today, and not something we normally do. I don't know that I ever have, but it wouldn't necessarily hurt or affect the safety of the item.
Well, I know we left these blank bases with you to have pre-drilled, and you put them .860 between the screws.
Yes.
We're going to have you do 7 1/4 inches between the center of the mounts, and then 2 more using, I guess, this base as a guide.
All right.
How difficult do you think that sort of work would be getting these 6 holes drilled?
It's not very much work at all. We basically just need to remove, we don't even need to fully disassemble the barrel or the action. What we'll be doing is taking off the forend, leveling the action of the vise, indexing off of that, finding center, and then just drilling the holes in the order that we need. As soon as you can. Really, it's not actually more about knowing the depth as to which you can drill into the barrel. It's knowing the depth of how many threads you need to hold the weight of the optic. And that will depend on the weight of the optic, the screw diameter. We're going with a slightly larger screw diameter, 840. Standard screw mounts are usually 640 or 648 for most optical rails. 840 is going to be a bit stronger, and that's what the hole sizes in the original base are for. So that's what we'll be running with. As far as that goes, really it just kind of varies. Most guns I try to have at the very minimum an 1/8 inch of depth on it, but some guns we can go all the way down as deep as a 1/4 inch, depending on the thickness of the barrel. It makes it kind of a pain. The barrel is tapered.
Oh my.
All right.
A drastic amount?
Not a drastic amount. About 50 cal here. All right. So that's pretty much it. And then it's 7 1/4 to the next center. Both of them hold it securely.
That's 4th of July.
Yep. All right.
Very nice. Top target, aiming center. See where we ended up.